Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Rule 34 podcast. I'm your host, Jack, joined by my fellow co host,
Dominic Castillo.
All right, and so obviously, as you mentioned before, keep your intro short because we got a special episode planned. But how have you been, Dom, since we last recorded?
I've been pretty okay. There's been some ups and downs lately. Some very odd events have occurred, weirdly enough, but we're back on our feet. As of this week of this recording, it's finals week. It's finals week for the semester students here at Berkeley. So, counting from today, I don't have a final today, but I do have three finals actually, this Wednesday. One final starting at 8 in the morning, and two other finals after that. But yeah, that's the situation. I'm currently studying. As of still of this recording, I am currently studying. So just so that I don't fail, and hopefully I don't drop out, because that'd be a really bad thing to do. But yeah, that's the situation at the moment with school. I've been also thinking about buying some things for the Christmas days that are already coming up. We're getting paid with the monies, but
next week.
I might make some big purchases, but we don't know that.
Saturday.
We don't know that. What happened?
Next week, Saturday already. Christmas is popping up.
True that. So, yeah, it'd be a good idea to start buying now in case, the holiday rush comes in through, and then people start buying like crazy, and then everything's sold out at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so
I get you.
It's better to get things early than later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the situation. How about you, Jack? How's school? How's life? How's your health, my man?
I am on my 3 weeks of vacation before I start winter quarter.
Nice.
Finished up finals. I already got my schedule for next year, even though it's not as favorable as we want it to be, but there's nothing I can really do. And just starting to relax now after a hectic quarter.
I can respect that. Wasn't today like your last day, or was it last week? Your last
week.
Days of school.
Last week.
Oh, right.
Last
okay,
week was my finals week.
I see. And how's your health? How's your surgery? How's your foot, my man?
Doing pretty well. Yeah, not too much more I can say other than just doing well. Basically, essentially healed now, which is, it fits the timeline that the doctor gave of saying that I wouldn't be fully comfortable walking till around this time.
I see. Interesting, man. And did you pass this semester or this quarter with passing grades?
I actually need to check. What if grades went in yet or not.
Oh, okay.
Because some classes grade faster than others.
Yeah, true. Did you have to do essays for your finals, or how did your finals go?
I had one final exam, and then the rest were essays.
Nice. Interesting.
I think the exam one went better than the previous two I had to take for that class, but I still did the extra credit assignment to get myself a boost just in case.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I'll probably check after this recording session, but I doubt the grades are still inputted anyway.
I see. You were saying that you might be planning to dorm?
No.
Next quarter? Or no, I'm incorrect.
No, I'm still going to commute because it saves me money.
Yeah, I get
you. You have to dorm though, don't you? Or
I would have.
Are you still being able to take online classes?
I'm gonna have to see about that. I feel like they would, because for those who don't know, the new coronavirus variant, the Omicron variant has already released in San Francisco. So we don't know yet, and I don't think Berkeley's gonna do anything about it. But if nothing bad outbreaks over there, San Fran in the Bay Area, I'm probably gonna dorm. Probably, yeah. But as of the time of this recording as well, I've already reserved a spot, meaning that there's no more spots over the dorm over there.
Mm.
So if there's any other students that have already graduated, or any students are gonna leave the dorms, I might be able to reserve myself a spot. I don't know if I'm gonna go in with a single room, so I have all the privacy to myself, or I'm gonna go with roommates or something like that. I might at the end of the day go for an apartment that's outside, so that I could have it all managed to myself without having to worry about privacy, with my own bathroom and my own living room, stuff like that. But we're gonna have to see the situation with that. But first education, first the grades. Everything first. That if I pass, PogChamp. If I don't pass, that's not PogChamp. So yeah, that's the situation. But if I do manage to keep up with my good grades, chances are I might go in person. However, if they do allow for online classes again, I may want to do that again. The only reason being is because of that, the $5,000 check that they give out for refunds. But I think that's me being too greedy. But yeah, aside from that, that's the situation at the moment. Yeah.
All right, and with that being said, I guess we'll get into today's topic because, as I mentioned, we got something special. And it requires the utmost of time. So, as the listeners will know, last year, me and Mr. Solis did a top 10 matches, in the wrestling world, and so, building upon that, as him and I have agreed to do that sometime soon. I believe next week is the day we decided on.
Right.
Dom and I decided to adopt it into different categories. And the one category that we chose was the top 10 albums of 2021 this year. Albums that came out this year. I'm expecting our list to be very different.
Indeed so.
Alright, Dom. And so the way me and Mr. Solis go about this is we just go listing off our numbers one after the other. So you give your 10, then I give my 10, then you give your 9, like that.
Yeah.
But so with that being said, I guess let's get right into it, right?
Yeah.
Nothing much more to say. Let's just get straight into it, Dom. What is your number 10 album of the year?
Number 10, eh? I would go for one that's a bit I guess unheard of. It's called Jubilee. I don't think anyone has ever heard of this one, but it's part of a Japanese Breakfast 2021. It was released earlier this year. I don't think anyone has heard of this album, I think. But it's I'm not sure how to describe it, but it's how would I say it? I'm not sure how to say it, but it's like an indie rock. It's probably indie rock, right? It's I'm not sure how to explain each and single song from the album, but Jubilee, to me, I like indie rock, but then it combines Japanese indie rock with the vocals as well. Ooh, it soothes the soul, my man. It does bring in some really old old school guitar riffs and stuff like that, and old how would you say it? Old old instruments like cowbells and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's because I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if cowbells are still used in modern music these days. I might be wrong, but old school songs use cowbells and stuff like that. And hearing the cowbell, it's such a simple instrument, but the majority of the songs use it, and it's really nice, But yeah, that's, I guess, I don't know. I'm even thinking about maybe getting the vinyl for it. Maybe. But I don't know.
So that's your number 10?
Yeah, that's my number 10. Jubilee, Japanese Breakfast.
All right. Before I get my number 10, I have to give an honorable mention just because this album wasn't released this year. What it was it was a re-release of a mixtape that wasn't on streaming services, and that is Mac Miller's Faces.
Uh-huh.
I just want to give recognition to that because that was a really great album that I listened to, this year. Even though it didn't come out this year, it was just put on streaming services this year.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 10 is Baby Keem's The Melodic Blue. It's a decent enough album. And, people are going to be like, how is this in your top 10? Because I only really enjoyed like 5 out of the 16 tracks.
Right.
One of my favorites being the track titled 16. But I don't mean this like in a mean way, but really the only reason this album is here is because, in my opinion, like from at least what I listen to, again, this is straight our opinions, and there may be some albums that we just didn't get a chance to listen to that some people did, but to me, like based off all the albums I listened to this year, there just wasn't that great of a picking, I guess you could say. So like this is here at number 10 because I enjoyed the tracks, obviously, that like I said, 5 out of the 16, and it's really enough to get it number 10 because like everything else I listened to, I couldn't think of putting it on here.
Yeah.
But so that's my number 10, and again, it's kind of short because like again, it's kind of only on here because it was there wasn't that much of a pool to pick from.
Yeah.
What about number 9?
For number 9, I think it would be "Call Me If You Get Lost" by Tyler, the Creator. The summer, like the summer album kind of hit hard. Like we were like, it's been like I believe it's been 2 years ever since Tyler put out a album. Ever since what was it? Igor. Yeah, Igor. And before that was Flower Boy. But yeah. "Call Me If You Get Lost." There was some really nice songs in there. I'm not gonna lie. I really like the what was it? I believe there was like a bit of a Jamaican vibe in one of those songs. But like I liked how there was an overall story that kept on carrying with every song. And we got to I believe there was one song that I think was like 9 minutes long. I think around there, and it was like a constant, just ongoing rap about like going out for a girl's feelings by Tyler, and it's just like ooh, that was good. I personally liked it. But like for every other song, I didn't enjoy it as much. There wasn't that the flagship song that everyone comes to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there was there was some memorable songs. You can't I can't lie about that. But there wasn't much to write home about. People still use old songs from Tyler's that that aren't really being picked out from "Call Me If You Get Lost," if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. Honestly, this is gonna sound like crazy to a lot of people, but like, how there's always like, those like questions and like things that people ask, like, oh, like what's one artist that a lot of people like that you can't get into,
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest here, I think Tyler, the Creator, is one of them for me because I did give this album a listen.
Right.
And and I don't know what it is, but like, I don't know what it is, but like, just a lot of times his music doesn't click with me, which is weird because people kind of always expect his type of music to be something that clicks with me. But yeah, I tried to give this album a listen, but I don't know. Like I said, it just wasn't clicking with me. I don't know what it was.
Right. Interesting.
All right, my number 9 is Kanye West's Donda. I think it's the longest album on this list. What was it, 27 tracks?
With the deluxe edition?
I think even in general, wasn't it just 27 tracks?
I think so, yeah.
Again, obviously this isn't to discredit this album, because honestly, I remember my first listen being like very enjoyable, but again, it's kind of similar to The Melodic Blue, where I think just because of, in my opinion, of what I listen to, it's like a semi-down year,
Yeah.
Because I liked so far, like in my big playlist where I keep on music, there's 6 tracks from this album, and it's like you hear that and you're like, how do you only like, how can you put it on the list if it's only 6 tracks out of the 27?
Right.
And the thing I propose there is that I think it's just I need to give it more listens, but that's such a hard thing to do when an album has 27 tracks,
Yeah.
But I have it above The Melodic Blue because those 6 tracks are much more like enjoyable, like my highlights from this album are Off the Grid, Heaven or Hell, Moon, Come to Life, songs like that.
Right.
So it's like songs like that are much stronger than the ones I enjoyed off of the Melodic Blue,
Right.
which is why it places higher. And again, maybe like giving more listens, like you'll see that's a common theme with some of these albums. Like maybe if I give it more listens, it'll place higher. But like again, with this album, that's such a hard thing to do when it has 27 tracks.
Right.
But still a great album nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, what about your number 8 pick?
I think I'm going to have a bit of a controversial take, but I think, okay, I will not agree with my own. If I was an outsider and I were to hear right now what I'm about to say, but I would say that Certified Lover Boy. But however, I will admit that not every song is a banger, but like there's like one or two songs that are really stood out to me and that I really like them. But aside from that, I would put only Certified Lover Boy just because of those two songs. I forgot what they were called. I think one was called Fountain or something like that. But oh man, I ain't gonna lie. When I heard it for the first time, I just played it on a repeat for like a good 2 hours just because of just how of a banger it was. Certified Lover Boy is a super controversial, album. One, because of the really horrible cover. Cover art, which was literally just like female pregnant emojis, which honestly looks really horrible. I mean, he could have thrown Kanye West's Donda literally had a black, just nothing, but yet it was still banger, But aside from cover art, the majority of the songs, I'll be honest, they did not go hard. Some songs, I'm telling you, really I did like, so that's why I'm putting it on here. But other than that, I feel like what happened?
You want even more controversial? I'm pretty sure I was falling asleep when I was trying to give it my first listen. Like you remember that viral clip of DJ Academics, yeah, where he was like saying that Drake was all of his top 5 1 through 5, and then it immediately cuts to him asleep during the listening party.
Oh man,
that's honestly how I kind of felt, and like I get, it's probably like to some people it's controversial to have it like that low, or even to some people even have it on the list, but like, oof, yeah, talk about an album that got such mixed reviews about whether it was good or bad.
True. Man. But yeah, that's my pick. It's a bit controversial, but there were only some songs that I liked, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Starset's Horizon album. This is a great album from a band that literally takes the genre of sci-fi and turns it into music. They're a rock band, and I love my rock music, and they just make music so well that like you can just picture like different like sci-fi-esque scenes happening to it, Right. And like I know like a dream of my pops is that they would just make a show that just uses this band's like discography as the soundtrack, because like it just fits so well with the sci-fi genre, and
Right.
It's consistent, lives up just to the same amount as their previous 3 albums. And I only have it low on this list, again similar to the other or to the previous 2, in that I don't think similar to Donda, I don't think I've given it enough listens to warrant it having a higher spot,
Right.
And like, the first listens were enjoyable, and one thing that will really like factor into I want to say like really the top 5 is just replay factor, replayability.
Right.
And I think because I haven't given this album enough listens, I haven't found those like tracks that like you really go back to, like in like a lot of albums there's like those select few that you always go back to,
Uh-huh.
Or if an album's really great, you go back to every song, But like, because I haven't given it enough like thorough listens the way I do, it's like I have to place it this low because I haven't found those tracks that I go back to that would maybe warrant it having a higher spot.
Right. Interesting.
But that's my number 8 pick. What about your number 7, Dom?
I think for 7, I would go with Off Season from J. Cole. I know some people don't like J. Cole, but what was it? 95 in Brooklyn and My Life. My Life? Have you heard of My Life, Jack?
I don't think I heard it.
Okay. So Okay, the thing with My Life is that you have to basically pair the song with A Lot from 21 Savage. If you connect the both of the songs, I'm pretty sure there's a like a bit of a remix on YouTube where they connect both of the songs. But I believe there's a good transition between the two songs. But My Life on its own, oh my man, it's a really good song. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like it's powerful, my man. The choir in the background of My Life on its own, and then you got the music also coming in from 95 Brooklyn. Oh man, I know some people don't like J. Cole. And I'll be honest, there was not that many songs I listened from J. Cole, but I decided to give this one a listen. And ever since I was able to hear My Life, and then have it also combined with A Lot from 21 Savage, I'm not gonna lie to you. It actually went kind of hard. I would suggest you listen to it, Jack, after this one. But I don't know. But that's my pick. It's a bit short, but, not too many songs I liked it from. But My Life, I'm not gonna lie. That did go hard.
All right. My number 7 was NF's Clouds, and it was a mixtape. And yes, we're counting mixtapes here because I'm gonna be honest with you, Dom. If we weren't counting mixtapes, I would have only had a top 9 because I couldn't find a 10th album.
I can respect.
Like Baby Keem's Melodic Blue only made the number 10, like I mentioned, because I couldn't find anything else.
Right.
But so back to number 7. This is gonna be a bit of a shocker, especially to people who know me, like my pops. Because I really do like NF and his music. I know, he seems to be a guy that really gets, dogged on by different communities,
Yeah.
But, like, I don't let people's utter perception change my music because, if you enjoy music, why are you going to let other people stop you from enjoying it,
Exactly.
So, I enjoy his music a lot, and all the songs on this little mixtape were great, and that's kind of my issue with it, is that it was just too short,
Right.
I think maybe if it had been longer, it could have seen itself placed higher. But, that's kind of the thing with mixtapes. They're really just kind of a little previews or little, if you want to say, like, little, like, appetizer, to the main entree of the actual albums, that are going to be released later. Or, they're just like a little, here's some, like in this case, I think these were not necessarily throwaways, but they were just kind of like they were songs that he made that he didn't think were going to fit on the previous album or even the next album. So he, like, released it as its own little mixtape,
Right.
So, because of that, I think I just can't put it higher, sadly, than number 7, because, again, it just wasn't long enough for it to get any of the higher spots,
Yeah.
It's still great nonetheless. Like, this is kind of a turning point, like, of where you're seeing me, like, actually have, like, my stronger picks of albums, like, none of these are only on here because it was a short list of a year, or none of these are on here because of where I only like maybe a couple tracks off of it,
Right.
Like, this is, like, straight through is going to be, like, really strong picks from 7 and on, and this is a really strong pick nonetheless, with my highlights being the tracks Just Like You and Trust featuring Tech 9.
Right.
But yeah, that's my number 7 pick. What about number 6?
I think for 6, I'm gonna go with, like, a bit of an obscene album. It's called Daring Mind with the Jihi Lee Orchestra. The reason why I like this album a lot is because the original composer, who's South Korean, surprisingly, takes a lot of inspiration from from Duke Ellington and Miles Davis, from the jazz stuff, right. And the reason why I like this album a lot is because it's very it hits the soul a lot. A lot of the songs like April's and such like that. It's really groovy,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like these albums, especially jazz albums, there's a lot of soul put into these, but they're you rarely ever hear them on the radio or recommended to you on Spotify or anything like that. But how would you say it? It's it's very groovy. Not only that, but there's even the way Lee is able to incorporate methods from Ellington and from Davis she's able to like modify it in her own way to make the like, you know, trumpets sound groovy, the saxophone sound really nice. You know, she even incorporates a bit of some flute playing to make it sound like kind of childlike, but it makes it feel, how would you say it? I'm not sure. It's sort of like some sort of tension, but a calm tension, you know, along with the trumpets playing in the background and such like that. I think Daring Mind is a bit of a standout, in my opinion, from being a jazz album that not many people have heard of. I would assume. I'm not sure. But ever since I found out about this album earlier this year, it you know, I personally fell in love with it. So, yeah, that's my pick. How about you, Jack?
I get you. Sounds like a really interesting album, and you know, I think that's the best part about this is that not only do we introduce ourselves to new sort of music with this like listening and seeing like in, you know, kind of seeing like maybe what was our like music taste this year, you know, but maybe it puts some other people on, you know, because, you know, sometimes, you know, people like, especially like, you know, these main like sites and stuff, you know, when they do like their lists of the year, you know, it's like it's always like the mainstream picks, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, a couple of us have had like mainstream picks on here, obviously, but like, you know, they're still sprinkled in somewhere that are like, you know, maybe some people didn't hear about.
You'd be like,
my number 6 is Hayley Williams' Flower for Vases, which was a follow-up to her 2020 album, Petals for Armor, I believe is what it was called. Let me just make sure of that real quickly, because I don't want to mistake in this as, yeah, Petals for Armor was the 2020 album. It pains me not to have this in my top 5. Hayley Williams, you know, she's a really big artist in my life, you know.
right?
Because for those who don't know, she is the lead singer for 2000s band Paramore, you know, and they've been like, I've told this to my dad, you know, and that is that, you know, whenever people ask me what are my top artists, you know, I can never give the slots 4 through 10, if let's say if it's top 10, you know.
Right.
But my top 3 has always remained unchanged, and it is number 1, Linkin Park, number 2 is 3 Days Grace when they had Adam Gontier, and number 3 is Paramore, you know?
Yeah.
And similar, my top 3 albums of all time never changed, and that is Hybrid Theory from Linkin Park, 1X from 3 Days Grace, and Riot from Paramore, you know? So Hayley Williams is really big in my life, you know? And, you know, again, it kind of pains me not to have it. If it had been before this month, I believe, she would have been in my top 5, this album specifically, right?
Right.
For the year, because the songs on this album are amazing, and it's a complete album with pretty much a common theme told through the lyrics, you know, and as I said, it's a follow-up to her 2020 album, you know. These two are her first solo projects, I want to say, and, you know, you would always think it's easy for, you know, the lead singer of a band to go solo, you know, and this isn't her going completely solo. This was just, you know, since the band was taking a break from music, they helped her out to put out her own solo work. You know, and, you know, a lot of it still has that Paramore sound, obviously, because all 3 members were working on this album pretty much, you know, helping her with it, you know, and it just her work with Paramore and then adding this album along with the 2021 into her like discography just like really cements her legacy to me, like solidifying that spot in top 3, you know, as I mentioned, where like after all these years of listening to different artists and stuff, it's remained unchanged, and I don't think it will ever change because, you know, with albums like this, it's just really great music, you know. And the only reason I have it this low is because I discovered another album through a friend, and also I don't want to say it doesn't have good replay value, because it does. It has really good tracks on here, but like again, it may be due to me not listening to the album enough. But like again, there's a couple songs, but there's not a ton of songs that I find myself seeking out, you know.
Right.
And, you know, again, it's still a really strong album. I would say almost every track on it was really good, you know. But compared to the top 5, replay value really starts playing a factor, because the top 5 just has so many songs from each of their albums that like I sought out throughout the year and even like late into the year, you know, that like it was just like they have to be solidified in that top 5 solely because of their replay value alone, you know, because, you know, technically that's really the best way to figure out what was a really good album to you, was just like how often do you find yourself going back to a lot of the tracks on that album, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's my number 6. Moving on, I guess, number 5.
I think for number 5, I will go with Donda. I feel like the replay value, as you mentioned, not that you mentioned, replay value is something super important as well. But I think for me personally, Donda, especially with the deluxe edition, you know, like songs like "Believe What I Say," "Praise God," "Hurricane" with The Weeknd. Oh man, these are like songs that they're like really powerful, especially "Hurricane" with like every time like when The Weeknd is paired up with the choir in the background for like a split like 1 or 2 seconds. It's really driving. It's like it feels emotional. Like it's really powerful. Yeah. But the thing with Kanye's Donda, it's you know it's a homage to, you know, the passing of his mother, and to that it's like he put in a lot of effort, a lot of emotion, you know, and a lot of time into this album, and especially with the recent. Did you hear about the concert he did like here in Los Angeles?
Yeah,
like,
the Free Larry Hoover concert.
Yeah, the Free Larry Taylor, Larry something, Larry Hoover. My bad, Larry Hoover. He played some songs there. I think he played some songs. I didn't get to see the entire concert, but like the entirety of the song being like super like, you know, Christian, religious, you know, the how would you say, the Gospels were very powerful. Everything just resonated with me, only because I really liked the I'll just say the raw emotion per se.
Yeah,
in some of the songs he just plays, like the raw emotion of his, like, you know, him just throwing out everything he's got into this one album, knowing that he has to make sure that it, you know, it slaps, and he delivered. You know, he delivered. Some songs I didn't like, I'll be honest, but the majority of them, you know, I'm telling you, you know, with Lauryn Hill in the background of "Believe What I Say," to, you know, the Weeknd's vocals in "Hurricane," and then we have Travis Scott and "Praise God."
I mean, "Believe What I Say" has to have one of the best samples of the Lauryn Hill one, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. I just my bad for interrupting, but I just want to say that I just wish there was more Lauryn Hill in there. Yeah. I'm not sure if you've seen on YouTube. There's like edits of Lauryn Hill's vocals into the song. But yeah. Well, what were we gonna say? My bad.
No, I was gonna say, you know, yeah, like that has to be one of the best samples probably from this year, was using that Lauryn Hill sample. You know, really great. You know, and again, I think I would have it higher. Again, I just need to give it more listens through, like, to a couple of the tracks, you know. And I mean, come on, man, we got to shout out Off the Grid just for the line. They're playing soccer in my backyard. I think I see Messi.
Oh man, that line is beautiful.
I just remember hearing that line for the first time and busting up, you know. But also, like, that song too, it's like, I think everyone can agree, it's like the vibe of it, you know, that fast paced, like, nature of the song, you know, really made it a fan favorite, you know. And you know, I think the only gripes I may have with the album is just like certain features on the album were just like, why are they here, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is controversial, because like I've asked a couple people about it and they agree, but did you think Lil Baby fit on Hurricane?
For some reason, I'm not sure. You know, when I heard Hurricane, it sounded off, kinda. They were able to manage the flow of the song, but when he came on, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, because the people I've spoken with, it's like everyone almost kind of agrees that like it just kind of seemed like an off feature, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't seem right that it was there, and that's no disrespect to Lil Baby, but, like, I don't know, like, that's such a big thing, is, like, especially when you're doing features, it's, like, you gotta make sure you hit on them and they actually, like, fit well with the song.
Yeah, true.
Because, off the grid, it was, like, maybe, like, just looking at the artist, people might not have thought, but, like, Playboy Cardi and Vivio Foreign, like, fit very well on that track, or
True.
Don Toliver and Kid Cudi on Moon, fit really well. The Weeknd on Hurricane fit really well.
True.
So I mean, that's just one thing. It's like there was, like, I think going back to our Don review, there was features that really hit, and there was features that, like, maybe take them off and let Kanye do it solo.
Yeah.
But that was your number 5, right?
Yeah, that's my number 5. How about you, Jim?
My number 5 is Pierre Bourne's the T-Lop 5. I think it's The Life of Pierre 5. I think that's, like, technically, like, the full name of it, but I know it as T-Lop 5.
Yeah.
This has got to be one of the most well-produced and most enjoyable first listens from an album I've seen all year. And this is obviously due to, Pierre Bourne being a producer before everything,
Yeah.
And, like, the man just has, like, that ability, like, to whatever he touches turns to gold, He has that ability when it comes to making beats and selecting which beats to put on an album and stuff, And again, that is probably due to the fact that he is a producer. That's his main job, But that's, like, where replay value really plays into a factor, because it's my number 5. I only enjoyed maybe about half the album. Maybe I need to do a re-listen, but I enjoyed, like, maybe 8 out of the 16 tracks. But those 8 tracks are just so enjoyable and fun to go back to because of how well the beats are made, how, just audibly pleasurable it is to listen to those songs,
Right.
Like, the replay value is just so good because, like, the vibes are really great on that song, It just sounds so great. It's fun to listen to, And, like, while most people might not think the rapping and maybe the content of the songs aren't, like, up to par with, like, some of the better artists, or, like, quote unquote better artists, I think he does a good enough job, and at least, does enough where it fits the song's vibes, and fits, just kind of like how would you say, I'm forgetting the word here, like, the direction he was going with,
Right.
And, like, I mean, that's just the reason why it lands itself at number 5, is because, like, it was just such a very nice sounding album. I think my highlights are For You, Drunk and Nasty, Practice, and Couch,
Right.
Those 4 songs really, like are basically the main ones I go back to from this album, as well as the other 4 that are on it that I enjoyed, But yeah, just a really great track nonetheless that, like, is enjoyable to listen to. Like, and it was funny because, like, I forgot what day it released, but, I just heard, like a couple, like, people talking about it, and I was like, I've always heard of, like, Pierre Bourne because of, like, being a producer, but I guess let me give this a shot, And it was definitely, like, one of the most enjoyable and well-produced albums I've heard this year.
I see.
All right, number 4 is next.
Yes. For me, number 4, a bit of a Nipsey one. Daryl Tucker's Dream of Waking Music for a Better World. This is, again, another jazz album. I think this one, for me personally, it resonates me in having, like, the 1960s, like, New York Broadway vibes, with, like, jazz music. I think for this one, to me, I really liked it because songs like Make Someone Happy, I think It's Gonna Rain Today, and Secret of Life. It's very, how would you say it? It's very emotional in, like, bringing back, questioning of, like, social injustices per se, right? The vocals that Tucker brings in are, like, super, like, how, like homecoming, you know what I'm saying? Like, it feels nostalgic. It feels like as if, all your entire life you've been hearing jazz music, and you left off for, like, a decade, and here you're back again to reminisce, the old days of jazz music. And I think Tucker, like, like how would you say it? It basically, I'm not sure how you say it, I'll be honest with you, but it brings back a good storytelling gift, per se. A good, a feel-good home, a feel-good feeling, per se, about the 1960s. Especially with the vocals, the piano vocal arrangement of the music. You know, I'm not sure how to explain it, but she even has like similar how would you say it? What was it? Similar connections to Stevie Wonder's music, a bit, or some connections. Not like completely direct, but she does take in some really good, piano bits here and there, and she's able to connect it all in together for like some really good old school 1960s, like the jazz music with the vocals and stuff like that. And I think personally, it has some really good replay value. But unfortunately, this is not one of the mainstream ones that many people might like. But personally, to me, ever since it was released earlier this year, this album, "Dreams of Waking," it slapped for me. But that's just me. How about you, Jack?
All right, 3 minutes left. I guess I'll give the preface for my number 4 before revealing it.
Yes.
And so this is gonna give away what maybe my number 4 is. Like at least like what genre it's coming from. But let me state this first before everyone starts coming at me.
Okay.
I am in no way a K-pop fan. I am in no way can be considered maybe an actual fan of the genre, right?
Right.
But as many know me to be, I am a music lover to my core, and I always am willing to search for new music and listen to anything, right? As long as the music isn't on some weirdo type beat, I'll give it a listen. And as most of my friends can testify, they know more than anything that if there's one thing they can come to me with, it's sending me music suggestions to hear what I'll say about it, right?
Right.
They can send me any song, and I'll listen to it, give them my full feedback, what I liked about the song, what I may not have liked about it, breakdown of specifics, oh, I really like the vocals on here, or, the beat on here, like that. And so the story going into this album is I have a friend who's into K-pop. And
right.
He's into mainly 2 groups. But he showed me a song from this K-pop group called Cry For Me, right? I think it was like last year he showed it to me, right?
Right.
And I enjoyed it, I was like, hey, I'm not a fan of the genre, but this is like a really good track. They got some really good vocals, and stuff, and like it has an overall general good vibe to it. I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But it wasn't enough for me to seek out the genre, even the group itself, right? Because I was like, I'm still not like, I'm iffy on the K-pop, especially because of its online perception,
Right.
I was like, But then recently I came across, like I heard it in the background of a video, their song called The Feels. And let me just say this, the group is called Twice. And
right.
So I was like, I heard that and I talked to my friend about it. And it was after talking with him that he recommended I check out their entire album that the song The Feels comes off of. And the album is called The Formula of Love by Twice.
Uh-huh.
And we only got a minute left in here, so I will just finish off and say, hey, if you want to hear the rest, including me discussing number 4, Twice's Formula of Love, and then Dom and I's top 3, because obviously we ran out of time in this episode, then tune into the next episode. Yes, the first time I think Dom and I have ever done a 2-parter, because we've usually been too busy with school to do a 2-parter. But we hope this time we have enough time, so we'll just close out real quick. I've been Jack, joined by my fellow co-host
Dominic Castillo.
Thank you all for joining. Tune in to the next episode to hear our top 3 and my explanation of my number 4.